Hey, what's up YouTube folks? Now I want to talk about what led you to this video, which is a scheduled service or maintenance of replacing your transmission fluid on your Ford Flex. This is for models, should be 2013 and above. If you have an earlier version, please refer to your manuals, and maybe you can watch this one to see the similarities, but this one is tailored for the 2013 to 2019 Ford Flex models. Mine specifically is the naturally aspirated, so if you have the turbo, you might have some intercooler piping in the way. Again, you may refer to this video for the majority of the task. However, the similarities is up to you to figure out. So if you're watching this video again, you probably have some kind of mechanical inclination to where those the similarities are not a big deal for you to do, because of the main task is similar across the board. Now let's talk about schedule maintenance. Schedule maintenance on replacing the transmission fluid on a Ford Flex is at 150,000 miles. You probably have already overcome the water pump task. So in my case, my water pump went out at 155,000 miles, and this vehicle currently sitting at 162,000 miles. So I am around 12,000 miles past due on the transmission drain and refill. I was looking into the All Data and Chilton online, and there is really, well, I should say there's two versions on the books, which is just the drain and refill, and then the flush. The flush requires a machine that you can find at an actual shop. Well, that's not here, so we're going to do the different version, which is the drain and fill. Now, there are some things to remove to gain access to the fill port and the drain, and I'm going to walk you through that. So if you again appreciate what I'm doing here for you, at least for informative purposes, go ahead and smash that like button. If you want to keep watching more, or you just want to support me, please hit that subscribe and the bell, and you can keep seeing more DIY projects. I'm trying to keep get the channel to be more alive now. So let's show you what I got going on. All right, don't get bummed out that you see this apart. I was debating on whether to do a video or not, and I decided I'm going to do the video for you guys. So real quick, I'm going to walk you through the steps to take you where I'm at right now, which is the airbox cover will be here, sitting and clamping itself on this. I already removed the air filter, that's out the way, it's in the garage. However, to remove this, all you got to do is remove the two clips, and then you're going to see the box. The box is held by these two cups, and underneath is just these two pins. So it seems like it doesn't want to come off. Just grab it on both ends, and then it wants to it'll pop right back out. Now, whether you take it off of here or not, that's going to be up to you, but what I did to make my life easier was to remove these two 8mm or 5/16 head bolts, which are off of right here, and then the whole thing came up and out as an assembly. All right, so then I re-hooked up the math sensor right here and the airbox to it, just for the cycling I'm going to be doing. However, you can see down here, right there is your fail port, and we will go in here to service with a funnel once we get to that point. So next thing we're going to do is, which I already did, is raise the vehicle to level because the driveway is inclined. So we're going to get that up, and I'm going to get the oil pan to collect the transmission fluid. Okay, so what I did is I warmed up the engine. I had it running for about 20 minutes so I can get the fluids, more fluid, for lack of a better term, so it'll drain better. And I have a 11mm ratchet wrench. We're going to go ahead and remove the drain plug. Now I cleaned out the oil pan to the best of my ability because I kind of want to inspect the health of the transmission fluid. And then the second part to that is I'm going to measure the amount that comes out, so I do the same thing as it comes in. And I'm gonna open up the fill port so it can drain a little better right now. So right now what I'm looking at, I don't know if you can see it there on camera, is it's transparent and I can see it still being red, which is a good sign. But it looks old. It looks little on the, like a tint of brown, but for as old as it is, because I haven't, you know, prior to me there's no records on this, so I don't know if they flushed it, which I doubt. So two parts to this is to collect the fluid and record the amount that comes out so I can put the same in, keep it simple, and I'll do that multiple times. I have 3 gallons of the fluid to give the equivalent of a flush as much as I can, and then I'll go through the steps of what to do with the drive gears as we fill it up. And lastly, most important, but maybe more importantly, is to look at the fluid once it all comes out. So I won't bore you to death on this part. Next part I'll show you inspecting the fluid. Alright, so the fluid looks great overall. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it and I'm going to look for the small particles of metal around. May or may not be picked up on camera, but it does have very fine glitter. But you have to understand that the vehicle has 162,000 miles. So the all data manual says that those particulates in that amount is present is okay, is normal, but an excessive amount requires an overhaul of the transmission. So in my experience and what I'm looking at here, this looks very healthy. Now looking at the overall condition, transmission fluid is hygroscopic, so it attracts moisture. So that's why it looks this way over a period of many years, 7, 8, 9 years at least. So we're going to now measure this amount and I'm going to fill it up again. So what I did is I removed the cover with the mass airflow sensor, and we're going to get ready to fill. I'm putting in my long funnel, and we are going to fill in what I pulled out. If y'all saw the video, or if it came out right, that was 6 quarts. Here we have this. There's 5 quarts in here, so go ahead and basically dump this entire thing in there. Let me see if I can. Yep, you can probably see a little bit better right there. Look at that beautiful red juice. I wonder what it tastes like. not. So out of the 3 5-quart bottles that I have, this is going to take a bottle and a lid and a quart. So what I'm going to do is fill this up, let it run, and go through all the gears. The manual says to go through every gear at least 10 seconds, but because I'm not in a hurry, we're going to do that procedure, but then we're going to go and do it a couple times. All right, that's 5 quarts. 1 more quart to go. Now I can use this one to fill in the next time around. I am going to do this extra quart off camera because I don't want it to spill everywhere, just for you. All right, here's the last quart. The drain plug is supposed to be torqued at 106 inch-pounds. I'm going to give it a good snug because I'm about to do this one more time. But then the second time around, we'll actually torque it. Okay. Put those things off to the side. Now when we measure the fluid, it has to be done with the vehicle level and at operating temperature. So what we're going to do is just close everything right now and have it ready for startup. So not going to do the air filter right now. All we're going to do is hook up the mass airflow sensor. For that we need to close this up. Okay, mass airflow sensor just put in place. That's it. Get everything clear out the way. And we're going to start it and go to the cycle. All right. So what we're going to do is start it. Just for my own recording purposes, 162, 412. All right. So now that it's been running at park or neutral for the amount of time that I just started it, what I'm going to do is put it in with my foot on the brake, obviously keep it there in reverse, and for 10 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to go in drive for 10 seconds. All right, put it in sport. Not that does anything, but we're going to see if I can press the plus buttons, see if that changes it into gear. Yep. There, 2. See how many times or how many gears I can put it into. Nope, doesn't let me go because of the speed. Well, that's fine. So we'll go back to park or neutral. I don't want to remove the e-brake, although that noise is annoying because the car is on a slope, even though it's on jacks. All right, so what I'm going to do is again put it in reverse for another 10 seconds. I'm just doing it twice. All right, I'm going to put it in drive for another 10 seconds. Okay, so it's gone through its cycles. So that means the fluid I put in, it has gone through most of everywhere in the transmission, and we're gonna drain it. And let's see if I get another 6 quarts. So here we have the transmission fluid coming out the second time. Obviously way cleaner. It just looks like exactly what I put in. Just had enough time to cycle and kind of mixed itself with the old fluid, but it seems like the majority of it was already drained out. So this time around it's just going to pick up whatever traces and mix with the old stuff, which the majority is new. So that's why it's looking good right now. And now when I fill it up again, it's going to be about 90%, 95% fresh. All right, so everything one more time. All right, so what I did is I filled it up again. This is the second time around, the final time around. And I just have the top box, which has the mass airflow sensor, and it's all connected so it can run right. And although the engine is at operating temperature, and earlier we had the transmission at operating temperature, this fluid is not warm yet. So I'm gonna let it run for a little bit. And I already did one cycle of the gears. However, here on camera, we're gonna do it one more time because I wanted to do it twice. So now in drive. And although S is also drive, I'll put it there to just put it on second, although it probably doesn't do anything either. But because the manual is not very specific, it says to put it on all gears. I'm putting it on all available gears to me without actually driving it yet. All right, so we're back to drive. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is measure the transmission fluid. Once it gets a little warm, I'm gonna let it run here for a little bit more, and then you'll watch me measure and fill as appropriate. All right, here is where it can get a little tricky, and you need to be safe because the fan may turn on and off, so you don't want to lose your fingers on it. And the reason I say that is because with the engine running and the sensor hooked up, it's very difficult to get into the sense of the cap to measure. So I'm going to do that off camera. However, once that's done, install everything in reverse order and you are good to go. If you enjoyed what you saw, you probably learned something, or you feel more confident, then hit that subscribe button and like, follow, comment. Jesus Christ. Oh, that transmission fluid on it. Like, follow, comment, and let me know what else you want to see out of the Ford or anything else for me. Alright, so here we are driving it, going through the gears lightly at first, and then we'll have to give it some heavy load accelerations to make sure that it shifts fine in all variations. So if there's any issues, then we can identify it now and take care of it versus then, you know, later. But everything so far, all the way up to 40 miles an hour, is doing good. Okay, people flying by. And thank you for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. And again, that's just to help me make better content. All right, thank you.